The broken blender. I bought a new blender yesterday because I wanted to make healthy drinks every morning. This morning, I put some banana, milk, and ice inside it. I pressed the button, but nothing happened. I checked the plug. I checked the lid. I tried again. The blender was still silent. My breakfast was on the counter, but I had no drink. I looked at the box and found the receipt inside my handbag. I felt lucky because I had saved it. The store was only 15 minutes away, and the return date was next week. I decided to go today, before I got too busy. I put the blender back in the box. Then I packed the receipt, my card, and the small manual. My goal was simple. I wanted to return the broken blender and get my money back, or maybe get a new one that worked. On the way to the store, I left my apartment with the blender box in my arms. It was not very heavy, but it was large. I walked slowly because I did not want to drop it. At the bus stop, I checked my phone. The next bus was coming in 5 minutes. While I waited, I practiced what I would say at the store. I said quietly, "Hello, I bought this blender yesterday, but it does not work. I would like to return it, please." The sentence sounded polite and clear. That made me feel better. Sometimes I feel nervous when I have to explain a problem. I do not like to complain. But this time, I knew I was right. The product was new, and it was broken. When the bus arrived, I got on and held the box on my knees. I watched the shops pass by the window and hoped the return would be easy. At the customer service desk. When I arrived at the store, I went straight to the customer service desk. There was one person before me, so I waited in line. I looked at the return sign on the wall. It said, "Returns within 30 days with receipt." I smiled a little. I had the receipt, and I had bought the blender only yesterday. Soon it was my turn. A young man at the desk said, "Hello. How can I help you?" I put the box on the counter and took out the receipt. "Hello," I said. "I bought this blender yesterday, but it does not work. I would like to return it, please." He opened the box and looked inside. He asked, "Did you try it at home?" I said, "Yes. I checked the plug and the lid, but it did not start." He nodded and typed something on his computer. I felt calm because he was polite and friendly. A small problem. The worker looked at the receipt again. Then he said, "I can give the money back to the same card you used." I opened my handbag and took out my card. He checked the last 4 numbers on the receipt. Then, he shook his head. "I am sorry, this is not the same card." For a moment, I felt worried. Then I remembered, yesterday, I used another card because it had a discount offer. I searched in my handbag, but I could not find it. I checked every pocket. Finally, I found it in a small side pocket, with my keys. "Here it is," I said. The worker smiled. "Great. Now I can continue." I felt relieved. The small problem was solved. He asked, "Do you want a refund, or do you want to exchange it for another blender?" I looked toward the shelves. I still wanted a blender, but I wanted one that worked. A new blender and a good ending. I decided to exchange the broken blender for a new one. The worker walked with me to the appliance section. He showed me the same model, but from a new box. "We can test it here," he said. That was a good idea. I did not want to go home with another broken machine. He plugged in the new blender at a small test counter. Then he pressed the button. This time, the motor started at once. It made a normal sound and the lights worked. I smiled. Perfect, I said. We went back to the desk, and he finished the exchange. I did not need to pay anything extra. He gave me a new receipt and said, "Keep this just in case." I thanked him and put the new box under my arm. As I left the store, I felt happy and proud. I had explained the problem clearly, stayed polite, and solved it. Tomorrow morning, I could finally make my banana drink.